close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hi everybody!
What's up, everybody?
How's it going?
Welcome.
Yep, welcome to the MMGL Division Selection stream. A lot of teams to go through today, 24 exactly. We had some last minute changes as always, but
Some long qualifiers.
yeah, some very long qualifiers, but we made it through. We like to thank everyone for their patience. We know it was longer than expected. Technically speaking, we were 1 week behind schedule from what MishMash announced. We know the AG teams who came over from Contender have been waiting a very long time. The wait is over. Matches start Wednesday, this Wednesday, 7 p.m.
It's fucking game time.
So, congratulations to all the teams that made it through the qualifiers. Some of you got first rounded and then worked your way all the way through the losers bracket and managed to get in. Some of you benefited from other teams dropping out and playing a last minute match to get in. So, congratulations everybody. For those of you who don't know, because we have a lot of new people coming in now, I'm Scummy Krabs, Tyler, Mr. Fergie, and Twinster or Jordan. We can't divulge Ferg's name at all. It's a big secret. We're also joined by Mr. Nick, who is our league owner. You guys know him very well. He's in our Discord call. He's going to be doing a lot of analysis after the draw. He's going to tell you guys what he thinks, what he sees coming in the divisions. Remember, the draw is completely random. Nothing, and we'll prove it to you guys too that it's completely random. Other than that, I think we're pretty much ready.
Yep, we're good.
So how it's gonna work today? We have 24 teams, 4 divisions, 6 teams per division, right? So Division 1 is J2F2, Division 2 is SAS, Division 3 is GIGN, and Division 4 is GSG9. So that was something that we just threw in there. We thought it would be a fun idea to include the actual operator classes as the names of our divisions. But yeah, Division 1, J2, well, it's left to right, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. MishMash Gaming business cards, right? Yeah, wow, look how professional these guys are. So, front and back, business card on both sides. In between the two is a team, all right? We will shuffle the cards, throw them in the official MishMash Gaming hat, and then pull one out of a time out of the hat, okay? First team is the first team in Division 1. Second team is first team in Division 2. Third team is the first team in Division 3, and then we go on and go on and go on, right? So the fifth pick is the second team in Division 1.
I bet Ferg's name is Buddy.
Buddy? In Canada, everybody is Buddy, alright? So are you guys ready? All right. So like I said, 24 here. So I'm gonna shuffle them up.
Shuffle them.
We're gonna get things going, because I know you guys have been waiting. We have a cool announcement that some teams might kind of be interested in. We're actually kind of upset because it's a big team that dropped out of the league, but it opens up all kinds of chances for all the other amazing teams in there. So Toxicos, a very well-known team who unfortunately couldn't get their stuff together, they're out of the league. So they were a very high contender to pretty much win it all. With them gone, anything can happen. Absolutely anything.
Sir, open season.
So, shuffled, in the hat.
In the hat.
We just kind of mix them up around in there again. Who wants to pull? Who wants to open?
I don't know. I'm not usually one to pull, but
I'll pull out.
As the teams get pulled, I'm gonna add them, right? So you're gonna see them right away. Well, not right away because I'm not a fast typer, but you'll see them pretty good. Other than that,
let's go, Jordo.
Okay, first team.
First team drafted into Division 1 of the MMGL.
Venom Esports.
Venom
Show them what's up.
I don't know if I could get.
Oh, the lighting, eh?
Ooh, the lighting.
We get it. We get it.
We'll use a Sharpie next time.
Yeah. So Venom is actually they got in today to the
little filler.
Yeah, into the MMGL because, like I said, a lot of teams have to play last minute matches. So they were one of them.
First team in Division 2. Oh. Profit.
Team Profit.
I don't know, man.
Division 2.
Focus, eh? Focus is just not there. Alright.
You see?
You get it focused up there?
Profit.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that. Profit. Just got to be patient and hold it there.
Right, team number 3. Saints Republic.
GIGN.
The first team into the Division 3.
Definitely gonna get a team where I can't fucking pronounce.
Try and pick from the middle of it.
Alright, you ready for the next one here?
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Division 4.
Division 4, first team. Scopes.
Oh baby.
Got in by the skin of their teeth, actually, because they were one of the ones that were having some communication problems.
And there is yeah. Alright, so what, we're back to J2F2 now?
We're back to Division 1.
Let's go.
And guys, just for the record, we have 4 interviews. We have 4 interviews from 4 different teams. When we draw those teams, we're going to listen to the interview. Alright? So, just so you guys know.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Faith arise.
Faith, there we go. Fucking too many.
So the second team in J2F2, Faith Arise GG.
Let's go.
Another team that got in thanks to communication issues. Faith Arise GG.
Alright, second team for the SAS. Trust no one. That's right.
Trust no one.
Not even your own mother. Up to date. Second.
Slow down.
Oh.
Slow down.
This was Trust
no one.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Look at that.
Second team for GIGN. eCrew Esports. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. We apologize for any of the names we butcher, but some of you guys have some...
Very creative, you know.
Yeah,
very exactly.
So your imaginations are wild.
Yeah, fucking Imagine Dragons.
Imagine there was dragons.
GSG9, second team. Team Sin.
Team Sin.
Whoa.
Team Sin. So remember, guys, the top 2 teams from each division at the end of the season will make our playoffs. 8-team playoff. So just keep that in mind throughout all this. Only 2 teams from each division will move on to the playoffs and have a chance at that prize pool.
Back to J2F2. Third team for J2F2. Senshi
Senshi 6. Third team in Division 1, J2F2. And I believe that's our first team that we have an interview for. So we'll go ahead and listen to that. I have it right here.
Hello everyone, I am Mercy, the caster for...
Oh, is that the right one?
So guys, here's the interview for Senshi Seeks. It's with Urban Death, I believe, who is their team captain. And the one asking the questions is Mercy, of course. So when we're ready, here we go.
Hello everyone, I am Mercy, the caster for the MMG League on PS4. Today, I'm here with the team captain of Sheshi, Urban Death. Hello, Urban Death.
Hello.
So first, we're going to talk about how long has your team been competing?
Our team has been competing for a whole total of 2 days. We just made the team 2 days ago, and we're kicking off a lot of steam so far.
Sounds good. Have you guys known each other before you guys made the team?
Yes.
For how long?
We, for about 6 or 7 months now.
So you would guys have a lot of team chemistry with each other.
Yes.
How important do you think it is to have team chemistry in Rainbow Six Siege?
It is the most important thing you can have.
How
You
so?
could be the best team of all time, but if you don't have any team chemistry whatsoever, you can't do anything with it. Team chemistry makes it so you can trust each other's back. Like when you're wanting to hold an angle or something, you know the person has your back the entire time, and you don't have to make call-outs constantly. You just know how the other person plays, so you can play off of each other so well.
Definitely, I agree. So, with this whole new wave of video games coming out, esports is becoming bigger and bigger. I would like to know your thoughts on current PS4 competitive play.
As in Rainbow Six Siege, or just as a nutshell?
As a nutshell.
I think it's starting to gain a lot more steam than I ever thought it was going to be. A lot of people are now having access to PlayStation 4s now that it's getting cheaper when the new stuff is coming out. And now, since everyone and their mothers have access to the internet, everyone can see all the new stuff that's coming out and see all these new competitive events that come out with them. So they all have their hand in it.
Sounds good. So now, going into a more specific range, what are your thoughts on the current MMG League?
I think they're very well run so far. I really like the way how everything's going. I am not too fond of it at the moment, but hopefully I can learn more information when I actually get my hands and actually be inside the game, because I'm more of a hands-on learner than a just look at the words learner.
Sounds good. I am myself too. So, as a team captain, you need to know your players well and know what type of roles they play within the game. Now, what is your expectations of your team?
I mean, we want to have fun. We don't want to just sit there. We want our team to be well-renowned, as we don't want that team to be, oh, these guys are good, but they're just sticks and everything. We want them to know, hey, these guys are actually really cool and they play well together, and like there's no toxicity from them whatsoever.
Sounds good. Now, as a team captain, you really have an important role to play. Is there any added pressure?
There is a little bit more added pressure, but I am definitely able to take on that challenge easy peasy.
How so?
I think I have a lot of leadership roles IRL and in-game, no matter what, so I already know all the responsibilities that it comes with, so anything that comes my way, whatever the cards have been dealt, I just go with the best case scenario.
Sounds good. But that is all we're going to have time for. And I really like to thank you, Urban Death, for coming out and having this interview.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, and I wish your team the best of luck in the MMG League. Thank you.
Let's get it.
And there you have it, folks.
All right, so that was Urban Death from Senshi Seeks, team captain. And we're going to continue. Like I said, we have 4 interviews altogether. That was one of them. So we have 3 more from 3 other teams. And we'll let you know as we get to them.
Okay, so I'm lost. I don't know where we are.
So now we're at
SAS?
SAS. So the 3rd team for SAS.
Mythic.
Mythic.
Mythic creatures.
Mythic.
Why do you keep doing that?
It's cool history.
And I'd like to give a personal shout out to Mythic because I really like their logo. It was awesome.
That's right.
13 for GIGN.
AA, my boys!
AA!
Get in there, AA! I know they're in the stream somewhere.
You know, you're going to see all those AAs fly pretty quickly.
Let them fly, fellas.
So AA, a big team, going 14-0 in their qualifying run.
AA! There it is. There it is.
And the 3rd team for GSG9.
Vision Empire.
Ooh.
Vision Empire.
Ooh.
And Vision Empire is one of the teams that we have a interview with.
Let's go.
So we're gonna throw
Ricky.
it back over to, like Fergie said, Mr. Slickety Rickety Little Dickety. And once again, the questioner is Mr. Mercy. So we'll open that up, and you guys can listen to what they got to say.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mercy, caster for the MMG League, and I am here with Slick Rick, team captain for Vision Empire. Hello, Slick.
What's up, man?
So, I just want to get to know you, talk about your team, you know, the basics before you compete. First, I want to ask you how long your team has been competing.
We've been competing in like tournaments and like league plays and stuff like that with AG and MishMash for about like 6 months around there, something like that, maybe a little bit less than that.
All right, so let's just dive straight into the competition. First, I want to know your thoughts on the MMG League.
Basically, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a way to, give a competitive standpoint on consoles since there no longer is one. And it just keeps things interesting, right? It can get boring at times, and it gives people stuff to do.
All right, so now I want to talk about your team. What is it that your team has that other team doesn't?
I would say team chemistry. Not really so much. It's like, the strats are about the same as everybody else. The gun game is about the same as everybody else, but definitely like the friendship that, like teamwork that we have. We've been playing together now for a while. So I definitely think that gives us a little bit of an advantage.
So on the topic of that, how important is team chemistry to you?
I think it's very important. I think working together and competitively as a team helps you more than almost anything that you could bring to the table, honestly. Team chemistry is what helps you get the job done, like during the games and stuff.
Sounds good. So as a team captain, you need to do all these certain things for the team. Is there any added pressure?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of added pressure whenever I was trying to sign the team up to try to figure out subs and rosters and stuff like that. And trying to figure out scrims and get the team on all at the same time and stuff like that is pretty stressful, but they make it pretty easy on me. Like I said, we're all pretty good friends, so it just kind of works out.
Sounds good. But unfortunately, as much as I would like to get to know you, that is all we're going to have time for today. I would like to thank you, Slick Rick, for coming out and speaking with me.
Thanks for having me.
I would wish your team the best of luck in the upcoming season.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so there you have it.
Boy,
Mr.
Ricky.
Slick Rick from Vision Empire weighing in his thoughts on the league and how they're going to do this upcoming season. We thank him very much for the interview. And we thank Mercy, as always, of course, for being there to capture all these great moments.
Let's keep her going.
So where are we?
We are on Team 4 for the first division, J2F2.
East Coast Gunners.
East Coast Gunners, our boys Centuries.
That's it.
COASD.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I got a concussion. So there we go. The first admin drawn into a league, into a division, I should say.
Ready for the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure. Fourth team of SAS.
Rise Alliance.
Rise Alliance. Hashtag Rise Up in the chat.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Same as the Falcons.
Oh. Why
Rise
is there...
Alliance.
Oh, wow.
And Rise Alliance is one of the teams we have an interview for, of course.
Wow, back at back.
Oh, Jesus.
So let's listen to what these guys got to say.
Keep going.
We're going interview.
Give me a second. Where the hell is the... Oh, there it is.
What's up, everybody? I am Mercy, and I'm here with Restarter, the team captain of Rise Alliance. Hello, Restarter.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
So, following the first interview, we're going to be taking another look with another team captain on his own team. So, first, I just want to ask how long your team has been competing.
Well, competed a lot, actually. For R6, we've had many different rosters, disbanded a little bit, released players, signed new players. But overall in R6, we've been competing about for 6 months, competed in different GL4s, different types of leagues.
Sounds good. Now, what are your thoughts on PS4 competitive play?
Well, I'm just kind of glad that it's still around and it hasn't been dying out as much. And I'm glad that MMG can bring a brand new R6 league since there isn't as many leagues for R6 on PS4.
Sounds good. Now, after coming from a different league and being merged into MMG, what is your thoughts on the MMG league?
Well, yeah, management is like 100% way better than the CCL league, which was the old league. The management of that league was just kind of ruined after a while, and it really didn't feel like it's going anywhere. But the way the management acts in the MMG league and how it's ran, I feel like this league has a lot of big things in the future that could really help get our name out as well.
Definitely, I agree too. So being a team captain, you need to have these certain high expectations for your teams, but I want to hear it from you personally. What is your thoughts and expectations of this team coming into this league?
Thoughts the way our roster is set up, we have a new roster, we have new signed players, but I think this roster can totally dominate the league, and I'm excited to watch them play. But I've seen there is a couple good teams in the league that I am afraid of for competition, but it should be good.
Sounds very good. Now, taking your team, what separates you from other teams?
Well, I think it's overall experience and how we play. We definitely have a different play style from what I've watched so far of the other teams. We definitely have a unique, different set of play. And overall, I think our players will be a little bit more dominant. Like one of the teams, Mint, their strats are very good team. But I just feel like overall the player set would just be way better.
Definitely. But that's all I'm going to have time for, and I'd like to appreciate you taking the time, Restarter, to have this interview with me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Peace.
There we have it.
All right.
Captain from Rise Alliance. We do appreciate his kind words on the management. I know Nick would Nick and all the admins will really appreciate that too. So
Big
thank you very
ups.
much. And we continue. So we are looking at Team 4 for the GIGN in Division 3.
Genesis Esports.
You forget how to read, man?
I was gonna read Genius, but
Genius. Genesis Esports. Another admin being drawn into a league. That's Chrome, of course. Genesis Esports. Great. Welcome to the GIGN. Moving on to GSG9, team number 4.
Overload.
Overload. Overload.
Overload.
So, 4 teams have been drawn into each division. We're now moving to the 2 last teams of each. Getting through this nice and quickly.
Optical Tactics.
Optical Tactics, team number 5, a J2F2. Optical Tactics. Optical Tactics. SAS. Ferg's boy Thatcher
Let's
represented. Veiled.
Veiled. See,
Veiled Esports. Who also, I must say, I do love your logo.
I was gonna be Veal.
Veiled Esports.
6 left. 6 left.
Oh wow.
Who's the last one?
Useful.
Mm.
So, over to the GIGN, team number 5.
Oh,
Not cash money.
Not cash money.
not here.
I don't have any.
No cash.
Because it's all in the prize pool.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Not cash money.
We're going.
Man, still haven't seen the MishMash fucking gaming team out there yet.
Oh, it's true, eh? Fuck. Did we put our own team?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
GSG9.
Cobra K!
Close. Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai being drawn
Oh,
into.
It's okay.
You got it. GSG9. And here we have it. The last 4 teams of the draw. To complete them. And then, guys, like I said, at the end of these last 4 teams, we're going to hear
Okay,
from
I
Nick.
was like, shit.
Don't scare me, man.
So, last team of J2F2 to complete division number 1.
Washed.
Wash.
Team Wash.
Wash yourself.
Washed. So, there we have it. The first complete division. Venom, Faith Arise, Senshi, ECG, Optical Tactics, and Wash. I will
Hell
not
of a
give-
division.
Yeah,
Hell
I
of
will
a
not
division.
give my opinion because Nick is going to handle all that. So we will remain impartial.
MMG, baby.
MMG!
Let's go. SAS.
Right into SAS. Ferg is very proud right
Wednesday
now.
nights? Is that what it is?
Wednesday nights.
Wednesday night,
Mark
baby.
your
You know where
calendars.
Ferg's gonna be.
MMG.
Let's go
The
SAS.
6th and last team drawn into my boys, our boys. Alright, GIGN, last team.
Deuce Vault.
Deuce Vault, or Deus Vault, I'm not sure how they pronounce it.
Deuce?
Deuce Vault.
Deuce Vault.
Those fault.
And that is also our last team with an interview.
Mind if I do the last one there?
Yeah,
bud?
go for it.
Alright, look at that.
So we'll get these going, and then we'll get the interview going for them.
And then we have one
Then
team
one more
left.
team.
Which you probably know who you are if you're the last.
Probably know who you are, but you're
You
gonna
want
have
to
to
just
wait.
pick them before the interview?
Yeah, alright.
Okay, let's do it.
Last team, GSG9 to complete the last division, and we'll be all set for the Deuce Vault interview, is
Aviate.
Aviate. Wow, what a coincidence. Our boys Nick team being the last one drawn. League owner himself. And there we have it. These are the 4 divisions of the MMGL for the next probably 2 months. I think we have 10 weeks in mind, or 11 weeks or something like that, excluding playoffs. Top 2 from each division move up to the playoffs, get a shot at that $750 cash prize pool. But before I go any further, we're going to listen to that Deuce Vault Esports interview because they took the time to do the interview and we have to take the time to play it for you guys.
Have a
So,
listen.
yeah, exactly. Have a listen.
Have a listen.
Hello everyone, my name is Mercy, caster for the MMG League. I am here with Timber, the team captain of Deus Vault. Hello Timber.
Hi, how are you?
So today we're going to be doing an interview with him to get known to his team, as they are competing in this new MMG League. But first, I just want to ask you, how long has your team been competing with each other?
We've been competing with each other since September. We've made a couple roster changes since then, but overall we've had the same roster since about late November, early December.
Sounds good. So that means you guys have a lot of chemistry with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So how important is team chemistry within Rainbow Six Siege?
Well, team chemistry is important because if you don't know how your team works, you can't really make solid strats. You could come up with strats, but won't really work out. It really helps with the roles. You know how your teammates play. So I mean it's just important.
Alright, so with this new wave of PS4 competitive play not only being on Rainbow, what is your thoughts on PS4 competitive play in general?
Well, I remember a couple leagues that started in like the middle year one on PS4. I don't remember what the first one was called, but I remember it being there. Especially when they're promoting the first Go 4s on console. People want to start their own leagues. Um, it just it kind of bothers me that PS4 has the biggest Siege community, and it feels like they have a big competitive community, and nobody of like greater power, like from ESL or from Rainbow, has really acknowledged the community. It's you know.
Alright, so with that, coming from a new league, what is your thoughts on the current MMG League?
Uh, well, I mean, I like the staff. I like the staff. There's some teams I don't really know, because whenever a new league starts, some new teams come up. A lot of teams, especially after a league, if they don't do too good, they disband. Uh, so a lot of new teams are being made. There's a lot of familiar names, but
So,
other than that, I like how it's being run. I like the people there at MMG.
so being the team captain of a team, what do you expect out of your team?
Uh, well, I mean, obviously, I expect us to win, but if one of us is doing bad, I don't expect us to be discouraged, which it happens a lot. Especially like in any team, people get discouraged, especially when we're losing. I try to keep my team up there in morale. So yeah, I expect us to be always optimistic. 'Cause that's how you win.
So being the team captain of your team, what separates you as a role in game?
Uh, oh, I really don't know how to answer that question because I mean we're all really good friends. We all you know, I mean I'm the IGL, so I mean I guess that separates me from everybody else. I'm the key decision maker, but it's I don't make all the decisions. If somebody sees that we could do something else, and if I feel like they're correct, we'll do that. It's always good to have a second opinion when you're IGLing.
Sounds good.
So I mean,
So what do you think your team has that other teams don't?
oh definitely we try to take everything as serious as we can, but most of the time we just can't. We fuck around a lot more than we should.
So do you think that is a weakness?
uh, yeah, in some respect it is, because a lot of times we we end up getting serious when it's too late. So sometimes it can be hindered. Sometimes it keeps us it goes back to being optimistic. It keeps us optimistic.
Sounds good. But that is all I'm going to have time for. Thank you, Timber, for taking the time with me. And I do wish your team, Deus Volt, good luck in the next upcoming season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
rock and roll.
All right, guys. So there we have it. Those are our 4 set divisions: J2F2, SAS, GIG9, and GIGN and GSG9.
So
we have Nick on the line, I believe.
But we just want to make it clear. I seen somewhere in the chat. Wednesday night is Division 1 and 2.
Yes.
J2F2 and SAS, and then Friday is GIGN and GSG9.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're gonna make sure the schedules and the overlays all reflect division names, not just numbers.
Yeah.
You're gonna know the name of your division, when it plays, where it plays.
Exactly. We will be also announcing every Monday or Sunday. We'll see. Before that week, anyway, we'll announce on our Instagram. We'll have a match card of all the games for that week, so guys can kind of know what they're doing. They're during the week. We've known this since the beginning. It's what has to be done. We'll just leave it at that. Wednesdays and Fridays, 2 stream games, right? So the first game will be from Division 1 on Wednesdays, streamed. The second game will be from Division 2. 1 game from each division per day. So Friday there will be 1 game from Division 3 and 1 game from Division 4. The other games are played off of stream, preferably the same day. They need to be the same day because we need to be able to update the bracket and keep everything real. And if we start allowing too many teams, like, oh yeah, we're playing Monday, we're playing Sunday, we're gonna get behind. Basically, you have that week to play your match. If it's a stream game, then you have to play on our set time. If it's not a stream game, you have that week. If you guys cannot arrange it, 1 team forfeits, and it's going to be whoever cannot play, obviously, right?
Yep. No fucking around.
Exactly. For this to work, and, you know, we've been going back and forth, a lot of people, you know, talking what would make console competition work, and it's structure, it's commitment, it's less toxicity. So we can do that, right? We're the collective community of Comp Siege, Comp PS4, and there's no reason why what we do can't plow the way for what can actually be competitive esports, right? So, Nick, are you there, buddy?
I think he's muted.
Did we mute him or no? There he is.
There he is.
Yo, what's up?
Did we mute him or no? There he is. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing very good. So you're going to go through the 4 divisions we have set in front of us and just kind of say whatever you'd like. And I know you're looking forward to breaking down to what you see, especially you being in the same division as some pretty big teams, I'd say, eh?
Yep, of course. So just to answer some people's questions real quick about this Challenger League stuff. I know for sure that the top 2 teams in the finals, 1st and 2nd place, will advance to AG Premier. I talked to Quill earlier today, and most likely, since the team in Premier dropped out the other day, we'll have a 3rd place game, and the winner of that will also advance to Premier. In terms of the prize pool, it's going to be 80% 1st place, 20% 2nd place. Like MishMash said, Divisions 1 and 2 Wednesday, Divisions 3 and 4 Friday. What they didn't mention is it will flip-flop. So, like, for example, Division 1 and 2 plays on Wednesday, week 1, but then week 2, they're going to play on Friday. And then we'll also have, like, super weeks. If you've watched Pro League, the last season they had to have some super weeks, or the last half they had to have some super weeks due to cancellations and stuff. And we're going to be doing the same thing for 2 weeks to speed up the league a little bit, so we're on the same timeline with AG Premier. And yeah, I think that's about it for the basic stuff. So Lucia, you here, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Even though we happen to be on the same team, we'll refrain from bias, and me and him will walk you guys through the divisions. Maybe all of you don't know the teams and stuff, so here's your time to get a little info on all of them, especially if you're in the division themselves. So, we'll start off with Division 1. We got Venom Esports. reports. MMGL or MMG mentioned that they were added basically today. I do personally know a couple players on their roster. I know a couple of them actually made the round of 16 last night, and so not a bad team. They have a lot of potential. I would expect them to be right up there at the top 3, top 4.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a new team, so it's a little bit unknown, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. And I'm sure people will figure out that they're actually a pretty good team as I'm looking through some of the players in their roster that they could be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, they are unknown because we didn't get to see them playing qualifiers, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how they do. Second, we got Faith Arise GG, this other new team that we added today, ironically in the same division. They're an interesting team. They have a couple players from a bunch of different teams that I know. Honestly, don't know what to expect because they're brand new as well. Right now, just off the top of my head, I go for middle of the pack team in that division.
Yeah, I look at that. I see a lot of players that I know, some pretty good players, and they're one that could go either way because they're a new team. If they get the right chemistry and everything kind of clicks for them, they could be a pretty good team, and vice versa. If some things don't work, it could be a struggle for them.
Yeah, for sure. Next we got Senshi, one of our 2 scopes teams represented in this league. They've been around for a little while in terms of that basic roster. I know they were with Team Supremacy for a little bit. They moved on to some other place that I forget, and now they're here. They're a very solid roster. There's not really much weakness up and down the lineup. They have a really good shield player. That'll be something interesting to monitor in this league. And they definitely can compete for that top spot, no doubt.
Yeah, especially with, I think just yesterday, Joe Jaxie got picked up. He was a player for Mint and AG. Very good player, very good fragger. And I've played against that Century team many a times, and they work pretty well together. So they could be one to look at down the line.
Next, we have ECG, also known as East Coast Gunners. This team has changed their roster up a little bit since they qualified from AG Contender League. They picked up some really good players. It's probably going to be a little bit of a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs, to be honest, with the pickups that they made. They'll definitely be a team to watch when it comes playoff time if they do make it. But if they were to get upset, then it would be a huge win for whoever is able to beat them.
Yeah, I look at this as probably the best roster on paper, and it's probably the most feared roster. It's all if this team can work together. If they can, this is probably by far the best team in the league. It's just if they get that chemistry together, because they are very new with a lot of new pickups very recently.
Yeah, for sure. So Optical Tactics, next team. They qualified through MMGL. They looking through the teams that they beat. They seem to be a decent team. They lost to Not Cash Money in the winners bracket, but then was able to advance through the losers bracket. I mean, they're a solid team. I think I saw them play on stream one time. They seem to have pretty good coordination, but the question will be, can they compete with the best of the best teams? Because as I said, they did lose in the winners bracket.
Yeah, and I believe I played against this team one time, and they gave us a little bit of trouble. So I think they're definitely an unknown team. If that's always kind of dangerous because they can come out and surprise some people, and they might be able to do that.
All right, and last but not least, we have Washed. We had to add them in as well. They were the third team we had to add in. They actually, in the loser bracket, lost 8-7 to Senshi Scopes, so that'll be an interesting rematch to watch. Based on the ability that Senshi Scopes has, if that game was that close, I would imagine Wash has the ability to compete for one of those top 2 spots. So I would expect them to be right there in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, well said, Nick. That's one of the newer teams. Like I said before, you just got to keep an eye out for them. You can't let your guard down against teams that you might not know about. Just think that they're unknown, so it's an easy win because they can surprise you.
For sure, for sure. Okay, that was Division 1. On a Division 2, we have first up Profit. This team had a little bit of issues originally as the majority of their roster came from Overload. But now they have this new team, Profit. They have a really solid roster up and down the board. They have a lot of players. So who knows how it'll work out in terms of chemistry. But looking at their roster, they should be a really solid team that should be right up there competing for the top 2 spots.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like, one of the better rosters, with their captain being someone's PSN that I would not like to say on stream, as it is currently, well, he has to censor it in MMG chat. But yeah, it's a very solid roster, kind of new, so it'd be fun to watch. Shout out to my boy, Maybe Moves.
Trust no one. They came from AG Contender. Let's see, looking at their roster, I have not played them before. I didn't really watch much of the AG Contender. I would imagine they're a solid team though, as they were able to get a lot of solid teams in that tournament. So I would expect them to compete right up there with Prof.
Yeah, they're in terms of this division, this is the division that could be anyone's game. So if they win some games and they start stringing some matches together, they could have a chance to move on to playoffs.
Next we have Mythic. They're a solid roster. I think they're a newer team, if I believe. I have played them once before. They do tend to have some communication issues. I think it's just a matter of building that chemistry. So it's just going to be a matter of, can that team develop enough in time to be able to compete for a top spot?
Yeah, that's a team that I know all their players very well, and it actually surprised me to see them not originally qualify, but then they did qualify once we had other teams drop out. And with them not qualifying in the first place, I think shows the depth of this league and that anything can happen. But don't also sleep on them just because they didn't qualify, because I think they can make some noise.
Next, we have Rise Alliance. They've been around for a pretty good amount of time. I know a lot of players on that roster. They have a very solid roster, and they will definitely be right up there in the top 4. The top half of the division competing for a top spot.
Yeah, that's just one of those solid rosters, and yeah, I know they've been together a little bit, and they've just been a solid team. I could see them being they're definitely gonna be in the top half, and they are probably one of the favored in that division to make it for playoffs.
And fifth, we have Veiled Esports. They qualified through AG Contender as well. I do not know them either, just like Trust. So it's going to be a little bit of an unknown, unless they play a team that played them in AG Contender, as I didn't really watch that. So I would expect them to be right there in the middle, competing for top 2 spot.
Yeah, I also did not watch the AG Contender, and that's the thing there's a lot more on paper known about the teams that qualified through MishMash rather than the ones that qualified through AG, and also a bit of unknown because it's been several weeks since the AG contender quals. Like with East Coast Gunners, there was lots of roster changes to that team since then, so anything could happen with that team.
And last but not least, we have the org favorite MishMash Gaming. They've been known to get into some arguments with other teams, and they've been known to have an interesting play style. Honestly, when they were put together, they've been a lot better than I thought they were, and that is not hate. I just didn't really know that roster. So I would not sleep on this team. They could definitely make a run for the playoffs.
Yeah, I second that. I completely agree with your statement. Like, I wasn't really very sure about the roster when they first got it, but I kind of been keeping track of them and how they've been doing in all the ESL tournaments, and they've been a pleasant surprise to me. So I think they're probably the favorite of this division, honestly.
Yep, and that wraps it up for Division 2. So we got Division 3. First team we got Saints Republic. They were a team that was an AG contender as well. So I'm just going to go right back through the cycle. A little bit of an unknown team. I do know they've been around for a while, just under a bunch of different names. So that should be able to play into their favor. And looking at all the other teams in this division, there's a lot of really solid teams in the division. I just don't know if there's one that stands up above the rest. So this should be a very interesting division.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at that, and I would definitely agree with that. It's a lot of very solid teams, so this is one where anything can happen. But Saints Republic might be on the outside looking in, so they got to be on top of their game if they want to be making playoffs.
eCrew Esports. They played in MMGL qualifiers.
Yes.
They won through the losers bracket. And by the looks of it, they were a pretty solid team. They lost early on, but they were able to put together some pretty good wins. So this, just as I said earlier, this division will be tough for anyone that's in it.
Yeah, and they're a team that's kind of unknown to me, but I saw they had actually taken down Mythic, who, like, in my opinion, is not a bad team at all. So they're unknown to me, but they might be able to make some noise.
Next, we have AA, another fan favorite chat. They obviously performed very well in the MMGL qualifiers. They went 14-0. However, both of the teams they played did not make the league, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to perform against much better competition, because this division is there will not be an easy game.
Yeah, I've actually scrimmed AA once. It was very unfortunate that Nick's dog started throwing up, so we had to 4v5 the entire time. Nonetheless, they were a pretty solid team, and I think they'll be right up there at the top of this division.
Next, we have Genesis Esports. I've known their owner for a pretty good amount of time. It's gone through a lot of different roster changes. I think he's finally settled on a roster that's a very solid roster. And I know he expects them to make the playoffs. They should be right up there in the top 3 competing for that playoff spot.
Yeah, Chrome, I will never refer to you as Young Slime Life. You'll always be Chrome to me. I think it's a pretty good roster. And, he's been playing with some of these players for a while. And I look at this, and they usually play pretty well together. I think they should be one of the favorites in that division to make playoffs.
Next, we have Not Cash Money. They also came through in the MMGL qualifiers. They went through the winners bracket, and they actually had a pretty good game against Optical Tactics, who's in Division 1. So to me, they're a little bit of an unknown team, but based on their performance in MMGL, just like with all the other teams in this division, they're not going to be an easy out.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it might be a West Coast team, so that might be why we're a little more unknown to it. But I know Zimbelman, I'm not sure of his new PSN, but he's a very solid player, so I know that he's going to have some good players with him. So I think this team's going to be very good. Like I said, with this GIGN division, it's very deep.
And last but not least, in Division 3, we have Deuce Vault Esports. or Deus Vult, however you want to say it. They have been together for a while. I know they've competed in a lot of different leagues as well. So it's just going to be a matter of will they be able to beat the top tier teams in their own division to make a run for the playoffs?
It's Deus Vult. This is they cap off this very very deep division, and I know this team very very well, and they have a solid roster. They've been together for a long time, so they work well together. And they were undefeated in 2 leagues. They ended up losing 1 in the finals to Eddie Diaz and company. And I think they're one of the maybe not so the favorites, but they definitely have one of the better chances of getting to playoffs from this division.
On to the last division. First team we have Scopes. Similar to ECG, they have some very good players on their team that will have won some Go Fours, stuff like that. I mean, they will definitely be competing for a top 2 spot, and it'd probably be a disappointment for their team if they did not.
Yeah, and I agree that it's a very good roster on paper. I just would have loved to see them play in the qualifiers. I had no doubts that they would have qualified anyways, but they got 2 forfeits and I didn't get to see how they played, so it's a bit of a disappointment. But they should be fine in this league.
Yeah, that is a good point. They are more of a pickup team, and we did not see them play in the qualifiers, so it will be interesting to see that. Next, we have Team Sin. They qualified through AG Contender. I am not too aware of their roster's potential, to be honest. I will just assume that they'll be right there in the middle of the pack, maybe with a chance to rise up to one of those 2 spots.
Yeah, I agree with that. They just need to string some games together. This division looks like it's pretty decent, so if they get looked at as an underdog, maybe they can steal a couple games.
Third, we have Vision Empire, another MMG fan favorite. I have scrimmed them once before. They're a solid team. They've been around for a while. Just like with a bunch of other teams, though, who have the chemistry and their rosters have been set for a while. Can they rise up to the occasion and beat the top tier teams to be able to take one of those 2 spots?
Yeah, and VE, I believe they used to be MishMash Gaming's team, but then they left, and they're a very solid roster. They've been together for a while. I know many of the players on there, and they can do some damage in this league for sure. Shout out to Nebulas and that team.
Fourth, we have Overload. Mentioned earlier, they did qualify through the winners bracket. They beat 2 teams who are not in the league, so it'll be interesting to see what they do against better competition. But they do have a very solid roster, so I would expect them to be in the top half of the division for sure.
Yeah, and they were a team that I know before they had that roster change, and I'm not sure what happened, who left, and with the whole PSN name changes, I don't know who left and who stayed and what the deal with that is. But they were a good roster before that, so if they didn't lose much, they could still be a very promising team.
Fifth, we have Cobra Kai. They advanced to the AG Contender as well. Again, I'm not too aware of their team. It's just going to be a matter of can they beat the top tier teams again in this division? Whoever performs above the rest, can they beat those teams to advance to the playoffs? If not, they may struggle.
Yeah, they have. I know one player on their team, and he's a pretty good player. So I would imagine that he wouldn't join if they weren't up to par. So I think they should be a pretty decent team.
And last but not least, we have AVA Esports, which is a team I'm on.
We suck.
Not going to say much. We want to be right up there with the top 2. Obviously, we want to make the playoffs. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll just give you a little unbiased opinion of my thoughts on the team. I think we're kind of new, but we've already been playing pretty well together, and we have a good blend of support, frag, and flex, and everything we need for a team.
All right, that wraps up the teams. I'll go quickly and give my predictions, and then Lucia can give his on the 2 teams that we think from each division can move on. I'm not going to give you a finals champion because that's too much work to go through.
Yeah.
So first for Division 1, I'll go with ECG and Senshi Scopes.
I'm all with those two. If I think there's a third one that could make some noise, it'd be Faith Arise.
For Division 2, I'm gonna go with Profit and Trust, but Rise Alliance will be right up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Profit as well, and then I'm gonna go with MishMash.
For the third division, I'm gonna go with Genesis and AA.
I'm gonna take a different route here. I'm gonna go with AA and Not Cash Money. I think people won't be too sure Not Cash Money. I think they'll surprise.
Yeah, honestly, I do think up and down that is the hardest division.
Without a doubt,
there will not be an easy game.
Without a doubt.
For Division 4, screw it, bro. I'm gonna go with Aviate and.
Yeah, here comes the bias. Me and Nick, we're both gonna pick Aviate and then Scopes as well.
All right. Well, that wraps up our predictions. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna answer some questions I've seen in the chat real quick. I'll try to get that schedule out as soon as possible. As MishMash said, we will be streaming one game from each division each day, Wednesday, Friday. So it's gonna be up to the captains to let us know the times as soon as possible. So we can set up those. We can find the streamer or not the streamers, the casters. And I will keep track of each team that is streamed. So each team will get about a fair share of stream time. We're not going to try to neglect any team. Each game will definitely be a best of 1. Once we get to playoffs, it will be best of 3. And how we're going to do it is, so Division 1, Division 2, the number 1 seed in Division 1 will play the number 2 seed from Division 2 and vice versa. And then the same for Division 3s and 4. And then the winners will play each other, and then the winners of that will be in the finals. So that'll give you the basic format. If anyone has any quick questions, you can put it in chat real quick as I do have it open. This is the time. Yes, you make your own times. And MishMash prefers that if you have to postpone it off of the Wednesday or Friday, that you do it Saturday. You can do it Sunday as well, but I don't want it to be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. Those days are off. There's not going to be ties, win-loss, no infinite overtimes. Yes, for sure. As MishMash said, we will need to maybe increase a game by 30 minutes or something like that. No, I'm not saying your name. If we are not streaming, no, you cannot pick any day. So, Captain Don, you're on AA, right? So for this first week, you guys will be playing on Friday. If you guys cannot agree to Friday, you have Saturday or Sunday. You cannot play like the next Monday.
Kate, it's gonna be a loose, kind of a loose schedule, like Nick said. Basically, you have your 2 days and then Saturday, Sunday. But if your game's being casted or hosted on the stream, you have to play at the set time that's being told.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a league, so you shouldn't expect the same 5 players to be able to play every single game. That's just kind of how teams work. This isn't a pro league where this is your job. So, and like I said, it will. Then the next week it'd be on. So we give teams a fair chance for both days.
Yeah, so that's kind of the whole point of you shouldn't be having just a 5-man roster because things happen. Like, we're not pro players. This isn't like our job. You have to have other people being able to play.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys won't have much time to organize it. I know this first week will be a little bit more
chaotic.
Yeah, it'll be a little more chaotic. We'll be a little more lenient for this first week, but after that, then we won't. Top 2 from each tournament. We have an 8-week schedule. So there's going to be 10 games because it's a double round robin. So each team will play twice. So we have 8 weeks so instead of 10. There's going to be 2 super weeks that are going to be scheduled. I forget the exact weekdays. I think it's like week 4 and week 6. And you will have to play 2 games within those weeks. For those weeks, we will explain when it comes closer, but there'll be obviously more leniency in terms of when you get your games in. So, but that's the scheduling for the regular season. How do we know who we are playing? There's going to be a schedule release hopefully later tonight.
Yes, you only play within your division. You play each team twice, I believe. Is that correct, Nick?
I'm using my phone, comrade. Times will games be played? It's up to you and the team.
All right, guys. So I'm here also listening in and just waiting for my chance. A lot of the questions that are coming up now are the same thing that's already been answered.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch back over to where I'm actually on camera and make some closing remarks. And then I think we're good to wrap it all up.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for your patience, guys, and wish every team the best of luck in the season.
Yeah, thanks, MMG, for having us here, and good luck to everyone.
All right, guys, so you guys just heard from Lucia and Nick, right? Nick obviously being the league owner, and Lucia, the favorited admin, as him and Sentries are going back and forth. Ferg and Twinster have left the building. They got to go sit in some traffic. So I'm just going to finish us off here. First of all, as was said many times, we appreciate your patience. We know it wasn't as smooth as everyone would have hoped. From a business side of things, we weren't expecting with the whole merger with AG, but we are very happy that it happened, of course. It brings in a lot more competition, a lot more teams. What's important is that you guys continue to support the league. You know, today we topped out, I think we had 80 viewers, which is amazing. Games need to be like that too. I've said this to a lot of my guys, a lot of the staff. If MishMash succeeds, then everybody succeeds. You know, there's a direct correlation to what happens to us and to Siege Comp on PS4. Go4s are always going to be there. Bomb Cups, Vanilla Cups, they're always going to be there. But what's worth more, a charm or a bunch of money? So I'll let everyone else decide. So yeah, so you guys got to make sure to tune into the games. Show your support. You know, we get a lot of different teams. It's great. We've been hosting tournaments now for over a year, and I only recognize maybe 3 teams from tournaments, which means there are tons of teams out there, tons of people wanting to play. Individual players, obviously, there's a lot more I recognize because people bounce around. But that's something else that needs to change too. Because it's a league, players have to commit to their teams. They have to commit to the league. Because if we have there's limited roster changes, right? If you guys read the rule book that was prepared, There is limited roster changes, so you guys got to commit. You know, I know things happen and people get angry and frustrated, don't like losing, or, you know, don't appreciate winning enough. But you got to stick out the rough times to, you know, really appreciate the good ones. I don't have too much to say. Thank you very much. You know, this is all possible because of all of you guys. Nick, a lot of it is possible because of Nick. This all started from an idea from him, and then the AG community has been great. We appreciate them, of course, always. Even in the past, we've worked with them, and even though we're competitors fighting for the same thing, the fact that we're fighting for the same community unifies us more than separates us. You know, we don't look at AG as like, oh, we got to beat these guys. We look at AG as like, man, the two of us together can build this community, and that's exactly what we're doing. And couldn't be happier. There will be a schedule released hopefully tonight, like Nick said, tomorrow for sure. And to be honest, I've already placed all the teams on the website, so it automatically generates a schedule for the play days. So if you're in Division 1, click on Division 1, click on Play Day 1, you'll see who you're playing. Play Day 2, Play Day 3, Play Day 4. So technically the schedule is already made. If you know you play Wednesdays, then you know your games for the entire season already. So I did that all while these guys were analyzing the teams, which they did a great job, right? Every team, every division, that's awesome. That's something that you don't get to see on comp, right? And especially in console. I mean, we're trying to bring in a lot of new things that even Pro League doesn't have. And we'll get there. We'll get there. And Nick's telling me he's got one more thing. So because of the crossover, I'm going to mute my mic, and I'm going to let him say what he's got to say, and then I'm going to come back and say a final goodbye. But Nick, if you want to say what you got to say, bud, go for it.
All right. One last thing is, I was hearing Scummy mention it. So obviously, if you're in week 8, or not week 8, but like week 6, and your team's kind of struggling, you're towards the bottom, there will be qualifiers for the next season, and how that will work most likely is the bottom 4 teams in each division will automatically get dropped, and they will have to re-enter qualifiers, but the rest of the teams will stay in. So you don't want to just give up, and if you disband your team, then that counts. Like, you go right back into that qualifier pool. So that's on your. So you want to be competing every game because you don't want to be there at the end to possibly have to go through qualifiers. And if this league picks up more steam, more teams will obviously come in, and it may be harder to make it the next time.
So there you go, Nick weighing in. Exactly what I was saying. You guys got to be committed because it doesn't end after season 1, right? There will be, fingers crossed, everything going well. There will be a season 2. There will be a season 3. There will hopefully be a year 5, right? Siege isn't going anywhere. The PS5 was just announced, right? If you guys follow that, and it's going to be cross-compatible, so you'll be able to play PS4 games. So Siege isn't going anywhere. And the Pro League scene of Siege, right, is bigger and only getting bigger. So they're not, as long as Pro League doesn't start to die down, there's no reason Siege will. I mean, look at CS:GO. The game's been out forever, and the Pro League scene is still amazingly big. So that's exactly what Siege is going to be. And hopefully on PS4, right? That's what us, AG, there are a couple others trying to do the same thing. That's what's going to happen, and we hope that happens. I think that's it, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. There's one big announcement that we're not making tonight. It'll probably be planned is for tomorrow. We got some people to talk to, and then hopefully we can announce it tomorrow. But if not, you can expect in the coming days, hopefully no more than a week, a big announcement that everyone will appreciate. I think it's going to show exactly how committed we are and how committed everybody is to comp on PS4. So stay tuned to that. It'll be announced in Discord and Instagram, Twitter, of course, Facebook, everything. This video will be uploaded to YouTube, as will every season match with every streamed game that we have will be uploaded to YouTube with a proper with a proper thumbnail for the teams being played. That's why we're asking for your logos too, guys. We've gotten like 11 out of the 24. If you guys don't have a logo, there's Blind Cold TV in our Discord, who is doing everything he can to provide people free esports logos, which is awesome. So really make sure to check him out. He's got a lot of work because there's a lot of interest, which is great. So just stay with him, and he'll get that done for you guys. Other than that, I would suggest Fiverr, or Fiverr. I always say it wrong, but $5 esports logo. There you go. And it doesn't have to be anything super crazy, right? Some of the ones we've gotten are top tier quality, obviously paid a good amount of money for. Others are very simple, and both are welcome. As long as the logo is there, guys, it's great. It would really help us too in terms of overlays and designing and everything, which is a very important part of this, right? For the league to be respected and looked at as professional, it needs to appear professional, right? So, that's it. My throat's sore. I'm tired. Nick, Lucia, Ferg, Jordan, Twinster, whatever, Scummy, my fiance Kim, Mrs. Krabs over there, always supporting. Mrs. MishMash. Sorry, not Mrs. Krabs. Mrs. MishMash. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are Mrs. Scummy. I like that one. Mrs. Scummy. That's what that a boy, Lucia. So yeah, I can't wait to start watching these games, hosting these games. We got a good line of casters. We're getting depth in our casters, experience, enthusiasm. It's great. So I think that's it, boys. Appreciate it. And strap in, because we got a hell of a season in front of us. All right? Everybody have a good night. First play day is in 2 days on Wednesday. Me and Nick are going to talk over the schedule now. Like I said, it's already created. I'm going to drop the link in Discord so you guys can see. It's also the same link that will be used to look up season standings and stuff like that. Cool? Peace out, everybody. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in.